Instant content creators, fearless creators, wherever you're tuning in today. We're so glad you're here. Whether you are watching this on the replay or you're here with us live, I am excited about the conversation we're going to have today on innovating content ideas as you connect and collaborate. So, my friends, I want to welcome you. We are streaming today in all of the places. And I'm excited for us to be able to delve deep on what is driving you as a Christian content creator, as a fearless creator, to create the content that you've been purposed and passionate to create. And so I have a few things that we're going to be discussing in terms of knowing how to explicitly communicate your message, how to utilize and optimize the content that you've already created in times past, asking the right kind of questions so that you can create content that your audience needs and that you are passionate and purposeful about. And so before we go into some points and some questions that you're going to want to consider, I want to give you an opportunity, for those of you joining us live, to add your voice to this topic, this conversation, letting us know content ideas that you are putting into motion, that you're utilizing, and even tools that's helping you to creatively and innovatively create content. And so, Sarai, I want to welcome you. ECMD, welcome up, brother. Andre, Solomon, Tanisha, Mikey, everyone joining us here. We're just so grateful that you're here today. And we definitely want to hear from you because, oh my word, this power hour is going to be, I believe, is going to be transformative. Not only are we going to connect and learn from each other, but I believe these points, it's going to shift our thinking as thought leaders and as content creators. So we're going to hear from Sarai, who came up right away, and ECMD. Welcome, my brother. So glad that you're here joining us today. Always honored to be in community with you. And, as a fellow moderator, we cannot wait to hear your share. So, Sarai, let us know about you and any innovative content ideas that's working for you in this season. Welcome to the stage. Over to you.
Hello. Hi Stacy. How are you doing? Just I like the title of the room, so I just came in. But I'm Sarai and I am in the DFW, that's North Texas area, and I'm a manicurist educator. However, I do not do any clients' nails at the time. I my one of my hashtags is I'm not your average nail tech because I my mission is to serve beyond the table. So innovative is my word right there because I'm always thinking outside of the box to do things. And my me and a co-host, we are getting ready to do an innovative podcast. It's a virtual podcast, and we put together the contents that we're going to talk about, the different segments for nail techs, and other people like in the beauty industry, professionals in the beauty industry too, and we just come together and talk about things. And it's also open to nail customers, beauty customers, beauty lovers, DIYers, and then other business owners, whether they're in the beauty or fashion industry, or they can be like they work with us, like for example, like nail profession beauty professionals. We use graphic designers, to make our logos, or the tech field or whatever. We all collaborate some kind of way because we all need each other. So we open it up, even though it's the nail tech podcast, we open it up for pretty much everybody, because in every industry we all touch bases somehow or whatever and collab with each other. So that's just one piece of innovative thing that I do, and getting ready to do that for. And I'm also into um, digital content, creating digital content and selling it or whatever versus the physical service. that's what I have for so far. Thank you for listening. I yield the mic.
Yes, thank you, Sarai. Oh my word, you're speaking about an industry that you think is more hands on, but yet you're so creative and innovative in the way that you are able to get people involved with your mission through conversation. So I love that you pointed that out, Sarai. Having these vital conversations and in podcast format, knowing that, oh my gosh, that's so powerful. You've allowed your purpose and your passion to be a ministry that is allowing others to be a part of the process. And that I believe is innovative, especially for an industry like that for which you're in, that I've never really heard people speak about how to get their audience engaged, as well as other people who are in the particular industry and field that you are in. And I think that's so invaluable as we continue to think about what kind of conversations can we have with our community members, maybe our customers, people who are connected with the vision and the mission that we've been given and the ministry as a Christian content creator. So thank you for adding that tremendous value. We welcome you to our family, Sarai, and we cannot wait to hear how you're going to run with the ideas that are shared here today and tips, because you've certainly given us a lot of food for thought and concepts that we can consider in our content creation strategy. Did you want to say anything more?
Yeah, just one more thing. It's funny that you said that. Unless you seen my little picture here in my profile, but yeah, my logo is actually that pink heart with the words "Nail Ministry" in the middle. Like when I had developed my mission, vision, and purpose (MVP) for my business and what I would guide it off of. Like I treated my business as a ministry, and so I serve others and my fellow industry members through ministry. So like that's one of my hashtags that I use all the time, nail ministry, and I actually have two scriptures in my logo that I base my nail business off of. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yes. Oh, my word. I'm so grateful to hear how you're operating in your calling and recognizing that it is a ministry. It is a way for you to be able to see how your mission can go so much further as you are looking to really bring these conversations to the forefront and get people's minds and wheels turning as to how they too can operate, with whatever they're gifted to do in their business, and allowing that to become a ministry unto others. So really, really appreciate you, Sarai. And I had to definitely point out, as people here in the Christian Content Creator Club are looking to see how they can maximize whatever mission and message that they have been given, and finding ways. Podcast is a tried and true way to connect with your audience. If you're utilizing the right keywords, you're asking the right questions, you're answering the right questions that other people are searching for. And so we're definitely going to keep digging deep into this concept. And I just want to give a special welcome to some of our other incredible Christian content creator leaders and fearless creators here joining us up on the stage. We're going to hear from ECMD next. Athena has joined us. Oh my gosh, it was such a joy being with Athena in community this past weekend for our retreat, and always a powerhouse bringing such tremendous value. Jason, so good to see you again, brother. So these are people who have consistently been creating innovative content on this app and with us as a community. And we're so grateful that you're here. Dominique, we've missed you. He is a seasoned podcaster, and you can see as well that the name of his podcast, Seasoned with Salt Podcast. And it's so good to have you back again with us, friend, because we've been missing you here on Clubhouse. So welcome, welcome. So ECMD, I want you to share with us, how are you being innovative as a content creator, the content ideas that you found is working. And in between, I will share some questions you need to be asking, some tips and strategies you need to be implementing so that you are able to be innovative with your content creation. So, thank you for being here. If you have any tips you want to add to this conversation, please do raise your hand and we would love to hear from you. Now, we're going to give the mic over to ECMD. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Yeah, that's kind of easy for me because I came on Clubhouse, semi-retired, senior citizen, and all that stuff. So I really didn't pay attention to a lot of things that other people would do. And 2022 is my 49th year in music and entertainment. So I started way back before with social media, before you had all these amazing opportunities that people have now to get free information. They wasn't available back then. But one thing I've done since I've been on Clubhouse, and I have two profiles. This is my second profile. My other profile was Kermit, Kermit Henderson, and that's been on since December 18th, 2020. And the things that I've actually learned is, I learn a lot because I'm on Clubhouse 24 hours a day. Even when I'm asleep, I may find a room just to be in, and because I have a sleep disorder, so I'm never asleep more than an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. So I wake up, might hear something, and go back to sleep. But anyway, the thing that I've done is create, like, if you look at my profile pictures, create a photo first. Like when I first met Stacy, other than saying she's beautiful, I'm like, it's just something about the way she has that thing and the way the shoulder is doing it. This is like a boss lady. It made me think she was a boss lady. Then when I heard her speak, I'm like, okay, she's intelligent. So you learn all these things from listening to people. You can't learn it from just reading. But what I did was I created a profile on this current profile picture, is a picture of me with three of my team members, and we have a plaque for Reverend C.L. Franklin, which is Aretha Franklin, the famous Aretha Franklin dad. And this was a record that I actually distributed through my company that went to number one in Billboard, and it charted better than even Snoop Dogg's uh, gospel album at the time, and all of the major gospel artists that you know. It topped all of them that particular week. And the guys were so happy. If you look at the picture closely, you'll see that my plaque is a little bit bigger because it's like, oh no, we got to give you something different. To, like as we're talking about now, to to stand aside from other people. So to stand aside from other people, you have to have a unique picture. Okay, just like, okay, I'm looking at Jason's. I didn't enlarge it, but like looking at Jason, he has words in there. So I don't know what the words are because I'm not opening the profile. But if those words are powerful, then that makes sense. Or even Sarai next to me, if whatever's there I see look like a heart, if it's powerful, then that makes sense. But it's like if the photo tells exactly quickly who what you are, like with mine, it tells people it has something to do with the music business or some kind of plaque. If they open it up and see Billboard, oh, okay, that's music business. So you want to let people know immediately what you're involved with without even asking you. Okay, music business guy and whatever. And then also, as you know, the first two lines in your bio is the most important. So my first two lines say, current profile picture is me and team members, Billboard number one plaques of an ECMD, and then it doesn't say the rest, but to complete it would be with the ECMD distributed independent project. So that's another thing. The fact this was an independent album that beat out all the major albums that particular week on that particular chart. So that's basically what I'm saying is that. And then as far as Clubhouse, to come on stage, to come in a room like this, you know what I'm saying, and actually, raise your hand, get on stage, ask a question. The only dumb question, guess what, is the one that you never ask. That's the only dumb question, the one that you never ask. So get on stage, participate, and you next thing you know, you participate, and guess what? You'll be great. My name is ECMD, and I'm complete for now.
Yes, ECMD, just so appreciative. So much that we are able to run with in this moment. How are we positioning ourselves with even the picture messages we're utilizing? We know social media, very visual, so powerful. Thank you for your kind words, ECMD, and even knowing the message behind the motion and what it how you're showing up, why you're showing up, and even making sure that we have graphics to accompany what it is that we are creating. And don't create it in the same way. Try to find an innovative way to have the message be portrayed with the photo that you are presenting. I know Jason, he's known as the ever changing profile photo, and that's a messaging within itself. If you're being innovative in how you're showing up and how you're able to convey what is of value in this season for you and that you're trying to promote, having campaigns out there so that people are able to see what you've already accomplished and what you're looking to accomplish and achieve with them being able to be a part of that. I mean, asking the right questions and really proclaiming, the right solutions as you continue to show up. And so I'm really appreciative. Not only can you posture yourself in such a way that people can take you seriously with your messaging and with however you're presenting it with the right kind of pictures. It makes me think about Pinterest because that is also a platform that is very visual, heavily visually based. And you see the value of just being able to tell a story and having others be able to receive the message and the story that you're trying to tell as a result of you being strategic about the right background photos that you're utilizing that is in alignment with what message you're trying to convey. If you're talking about decluttering, you want to have maybe an attention grabber of a very cluttered space, right? And then if you want to show a before and after shots, people really love that. They love being able to see what it was before and then what it became and the process that is possible for them because they're seeing visually what was possible for the message and the picture that you're conveying. And so I think a lot of us, I know even here in Clubhouse, when I've been in rooms and I've seen people show maybe before and after pictures of their teeth, and you find out later that they're selling or their messaging has to do with you being able to have white teeth. I mean, you see the difference between before when they weren't using that particular product that they're promoting versus now, maybe after utilizing that product. And so that's very visual, that's very effective, and I don't think enough of us are doing these before and after photos, conveying our message in such an effective way of what is possible when you see that progression. And so I think as we continue to hear that and we continue to put into motion what we too can evaluate and see maybe some points and some ways that we can take it up another level, take it up a notch in our messaging and innovative ways that we can get our message across to our audience and what they're having problems with. So thank you, ECMD. Now we are going to hear from Athena. We'd love to hear from you as well as a fellow podcaster. You're also showing up in all the places. Let us know how you are being innovative with your content creation and how people can connect with you. Let us know about you as well, sis. Over to you.
Hey, Stacy, thanks for having me. I honor you as always. To all the moderators on the stage and everybody in the listening lounge, we love you all so very much. Thanks for the opportunity, Stacy. Listening to some of the concepts really just kind of piques my interest because I usually tend to try to stay consistent in some areas, and maybe that's to a downfall in some areas based on what I'm hearing. But when it comes to my content, mostly in my business, the Spiritual Growth Academy, where we seek to help everyone see and seek God authentically, I really try to incorporate both visual, audible, and written forms of content in everything that I do. It's very rare that I'll have anything that is just visual based or written based, or even audio based. Everything comes with usually those three components just because Holy Spirit taught me that I learn from him and I hear from him the way that I learn. And so when I learned that concept, I began to incorporate it in all of my content within my community. So within that platform, it's very engaging, very inviting, very vibrant, because it has those three elements. So if you're a person who loves to read, you're going to get that, but you're also going to get a visual and you're also going to get an audio. So anyone who touches any piece of content within my business, it will relate to them in some way, shape, or form because of those three elements. And I think that's kind of what I try to do when I am going live on multiple different platforms. I'm where you can hear me audibly, I'm where you can see me visually, and then I add some form of written context where I can in different areas. So that's one way that I think I can relate to the conversation, and where I try to be innovative in the way that I create my content and its consistency across the board in whatever I do. I'm Athena Stewart. You can reach me at solo.to / my name ATHYNA, or on Instagram in my bio. My link is there also in my bio here. Thanks so much, Stacy. I'm complete for now.
Thank you, Athena. Oh, my word. I think if we can reiterate and just celebrate the fact that there are people who are different kinds of learners, right? Different kinds of ways in which they're able to receive what it is that you're trying to help them with and the message. And Athena, you said it, being able to maximize and complement the ways in which you can speak to your audience and resonate with them as well when you are putting to use not just with words the power and the impact that is possible with what you speak, with what you write, but also with what you visualize and what you present to them in picture format. And so you're just driving that home even further, sister. I appreciate how you continue to convey in a powerful way the message that God has called you to really put forth to the nation, seeking to see God as a Christian content creator. What does that look like? One of the things I can definitely say when I see that gate opening, even in the beginning of your videos, that is that concept of visualizing that, hey, I'm entering in, I'm seeking, and now I am going further. And so when we even think about the intros and the ways in which we're looking to take people through an experience as a content creator, as a Christian content creator, you are allowing them to experience your message when you decide to tap in to the video format, YouTube. We do our YouTube rooms on Fridays, and then you are maximizing and heightening your message when you are tapping into the right titles, the right keywords. We've been delving deep about that. For our plan members, we do research, we use keywords everywhere. If you're on YouTube, you use TubeBuddy, who is one of our sponsors from the summit. And so there are a plethora of tools. That was one of my questions. Are you utilizing the right tools to amplify your message as a content creator? You're going to see in my story right after this room, I have a way to automate when we do our podcast episodes, where I get emails when a podcast episode has launched, that is actually in Headliner. And they will give me automated videos, or I can go in and create my own because my podcast was registered with them. And so I'm going to drop the toolkit in just a moment at the top, so that you will be able to see what tools we are using to amplify our message, to create content innovatively, to automate how your content can be created so you can have an ample amount of content you can get out there, because chances are people don't see the very first time you make a post about something you've created to help them with a solution that you provide to their pain and their problem. And so you need to be posting multiple times in multiple ways so that you are able to connect with the people who need your message and need to find and work with you further. And so we want to make sure that you're thinking about these tools, thinking about these ways, and implementing, taking action. This is our Power Hour room, and we always encourage you, come in the moment that we open. Why? Because we want you to not only connect with people who are serious about effectively fulfilling their vision and their mission as a Christian content creator who's creating content for God's glory and to impact lives for eternity, but we want you to be able to learn, to glean, to grow, and to take action throughout the rest of the week. Maybe you're thinking about opening a room and you want to maximize maybe this title that God has given you. Do you need to do the research first? Do you need to see what kind of questions people are asking so that you can start addressing and answering those questions and being prepared for what other people may be interested in hearing from you as you bring that topic and that title to them. So I'm going to go on to our next amazing speaker here. And guys, I honestly have a lot of content to share with you, but I want this to be a time that you're hearing from each other. And we're going to keep asking these questions. I want your wheels to be turning. And I really want to see you put these innovative content ideas to use. And as you're hearing these shares, make sure to check out the bios of all these tremendous moderators and speakers so that you are going to be able to connect with their content further and see what they're talking about. Follow them, engage, respond. And before you know it, you're going to see the results in your own business as you put these amazing ideas to use. So now we're going to hear from Jason. Introduce yourself and let us know if you have any innovative content ideas you wish to share. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Stacey. I really appreciate the work you do, and Athena as well, because you get deep. I love the depth, like really, really deep. And I think that's one of the solutions. And my name is Jason Bernard Humphreys Kinte, son of Bernard Humphreys, a scholarship winner from Antigua that went to Canada. I'm a scholarship winner, and I create scholarship winners as the youth minister of education at my church in Canada. And I got kids, helped young people win scholarships, and their testimonials are at freescholarships.com. Um, I think the most important thing the most important picture, I think we have to think freely, and it's thinking in a godly way. Um, I love Clubhouse. I met my future spouse on Clubhouse during the Pray for Your Future Spouse Challenge in August. Now I'm in Georgia. I'm at Valdosta State University right now. I'm just looking at what programs to go into. Like I'm looking for a full-time ministry program. I haven't gone to seminary yet, so I'm looking to do that. Probably a master's of Christian counseling or something. So if anybody has recommendations, let me know. I put my worst foot forward because I can't walk on one foot. I think that's the most important teaching I have in the kingdom. I am the only one that I've heard saying it. If you put your best foot forward, you get worse and worse and worse to people as you get to know them more and more and more. And you probably met people like this. They seem great. Their first sentence of their bio is great. On this app, people told me I have to put my whole bio in the first sentence. Think about that, right? I don't submit to this world system. It has no wisdom that we've become such a simple uh, microwave society that people want the solution to their life in a 30-second reel. In my 30-second reel, I put the 5 steps to freedom from emotional abuse and misuse, or the 7 principles of life that are biblical that won me 7 scholarships, or the 7 steps to entrepreneurship millions because I studied business in University of Toronto and I made a business that does everything for free, models a kingdom, and the Bible's a business plan. It's called Free Shares Incorporated. Everybody in the world can go to freeshares.com and request a free share. And for 22 years, I've been doing that with no money and even selling my house and investing in it in 2010. And my web designer on this app accepted a free share, meaning he accepted Jesus Christ. And I'm spending all of this time helping him and discipling him. And even if you do change one person's life, that's what Jesus did, one person at a time. It's not about numbers. It's not about thousands that see a link, click. It's about one person's life, and we have to start off with ours. And now I'm working on my future spouses, and I'm selling my house to invest in the kingdom. And I show my work so that other people can see it and correct my mistakes. So you can see my house being renovated, and you can tell me what I'm doing wrong. My name is Jason Bernard Humphreys Kinte. I put my worst foot forward because I can't walk on one foot. I'm done speaking.
Thank you so much, brother. Jason, I appreciate, the heart and the core of being an innovative content creator and Christian content creator is bettering ourselves, right? I believe that sparking of new ways that we can bring our message across to the people that we're called to reach, to impact, and to transform is as a result of what we're pouring in and putting into our minds, into our bodies, into our soul, into our spirit, and into, of course, our minds with what we're learning. And so, Jason, you brought up such a key notion of, really improving on what is it that you have mastered and you are able to gain mastery in so that you're bringing the best to others who are called to you. And so maybe it looks like you needing to go back to school, right? Tapping into a program that is going to equip you and position you to bring what people need to hear and to find a way to bring it to them in an excellent manner. And so you're doing the hard part. You're setting yourself up for the win. Some of us, we are a part of programs. We are a part of masterminds. We're a part of we've invested in courses. We are a part of communities that's sharpening us because we know iron sharpeneth iron. And so just thinking, I believe, Jason, you're going to find just the right program. And, if anyone here that's listening on the replay or live with us, have really resonated and feel like there is a program that would be ideal for Jason or even has a connection. Jason, I don't know if you were a part of our retreat, but we had a gentleman that assists the dean of students for Morehouse School of Religion, who is a part of our panelists, Dr. Jeremiah. And so, even recognizing that there are programs, if you feel like you have a calling, to go and learn more about the word and delivering the word in seminary school, that could be one you can think about as a man and, as a man of color as well. Just exploring the options, seeing the programs, how are they going to propel you in your destiny and your purpose and the mission that you've been called to fulfill? And then as you're learning at the feet of others who are leading by example, go ahead and put into motion, put it to use. It's not that you're, deciding to plagiarize or copy, but you're recognizing that God has placed you in their sphere so that you are able to be influenced and you can influence others and even give credit to them so that others will see as they're learning, as they're applying, and as they're growing, they can give credit to you because honor is just such a cycle in life where as you honor others, others are going to see the value and the beauty as you're leading the charge and they're going to honor you in return. So thank you for that beautiful example and being that witness, Jason. And as you always know in this room, we always cover each other in prayer. So we're going to be praying that God would lead you. He's going to open the right doors for you. He's going to lead you to the right programs. He's going to lead you to the right communities as you're led to build your community. So thank you, brother. We're going to go next to Ariana because Renee is here supporting us and isn't able to speak at this moment. But Ariana, we'd love to hear from you. How are you innovating content in this season? And it may not even look like the traditional way, that we may be doing it on social media. But, we're looking to see these strategic, out of the box ways that you can even innovate content in real life for the people that you're called to serve. And so I'd love to hear your take on this as well as introducing yourself. Over to you, love.
Thank you so much, my sister Stacy. Greetings to each and every one of you. As always, I proclaim peace in your hearts, your minds, and the homes where you reside. My name is Oriana Chun. I'm just blessed to be here. I am seeing some of the fabulous people up here that were in the summit over the weekend. My sister Athena, wow. And then Renee, Elizabeth, and it's great to see you, Brother Jason. As always, Stacy, thank you for creating this encouraging and safe place for the people who are here. We thank you for everyone in the audience. And so, for your question, Stacy, how am I coming up with innovative content ideas? So, I'll have to be honest. It's funny because you asked, or how I'm doing it in life. And so I realized a lot of times I might be with my little people. I have 6 children in my home full time. They are biologically mine. And I have a bonus son that pops in and out. And so a lot of times the younger two, they're 5 and 4, will watch various programs on television. And it's funny because I'm one of those people, I really believe that you can see God in all things that you do. And I believe that we can see it even in the daily activities that we have. Something as simple as, maybe your child burnt a pot. I have teenagers too. They burnt a pot of what they were preparing. So, what would the content in that be? One of the reasons the pot burnt was because they decided to go upstairs, get on the computer for video games a little bit longer than they should have. And so, what does that show us? Is while we're doing something, while we're taking care of something, maybe the thing that we should be focused on is what we're working on at that time. It's not going to take that long for whatever it is that we're about to prepare. It's only going to take a little bit of time, but it needs our undivided attention. However, if we stretch ourselves too far, it can possibly put us in a in a difficult position or even mess up the initial thing that we were trying to create. So I guess my innovative way is finding ways that we can use our everyday life, use our everyday experience, and go ahead and share it. Recently, I was speaking with our sister Renee, and we were sharing some things specifically about people who we knew who might have been affected by COVID. And I shared about my father and what happened with him. And she was familiar with that. And so it was kind of encouraging for me because it's like, okay, so if other people are affected this way, then it's not necessarily something that's out there no one's heard of. So just building these conversations using our everyday lives. My name is Oriana. I consider myself a marriage confidence coach. And the whole purpose of that is to encourage and to coach women into building up themselves so that way they can create peace and harmony inside their homes and inside their lives so that way they can do what God has called them to do. Thank you for allowing me to speak, and I'm excited to hear more of what everyone has to share.
Yes, my sister. Oh my gosh. So I see a few mic claps, and I know we normally do this in this room for our power hour. We're connecting while we're sharing. And so I know, I believe Athena wants to respond, and then I want to definitely weigh in because Oriana, you said so much goodness as well that I think we'll all be able to run with. How are we utilizing what is in our home, what we're living through, what it is that, God has allowed us, our first ministry, our family, the lessons that we're learning, and how are we incorporating that in our content as Christian content creators? Wow, amazing, Oriana. Athena, the mic's over to you so you can add in as well.
Oh no, sis! Ariana's spirit is just so amazing. So when she came in, my spirit leaped, and then when she spoke, my spirit leaped. So I was just clapping and just honoring her, the way that she sees the Father, and even in creating content or conversation or even dialogue. Just bless you, Ariana. I honor you. I'm actually going to back channel you when I get my hands free. But I was excited to see her, Stacy. That's all.
Yes. Oh my gosh. We're always excited. There's always a celebration when we get together. And I believe I'm surrounded by the best, honestly. My sisters, you guys have been with us. I know Oriana is one of our very first plan members, and she also just blessed me from that time. I think from when we had our very first rooms for 40 days of Lent. And I was thinking just the other day that I am planning out in advance. We have our sessions that we do with live with everyone, but then we have our closed session, and a number of people here on the stage are usually a part of that, where we talk about the content and get feedback on the content we're creating. And I was thinking about utilizing the content calendar for March. Not only do we have the summit, but also even going back to how we got started and seeing how we can make a big deal of what God has done, because it all started the 40 days of Lent. Every single day we were showing up. Ariana would just be there every day, even if it was just she and I. As it continued to grow on, Joe then joined the team, and Elizabeth joined the team, and then now we have Athena, Renee, and it's just amazing how God is continually adding and adding and adding because we remain consistent to the call. And it's so beautiful. April, so many others who may not be able to be here with us live, but it's just amazing to see what God has done in their lives as they're consistently showing up, they're consistently serving, they're consistently creating content, and we are helping to spur each other on forward. And it's such a beautiful thing. As we're planning out our summit, we also have a closed group for speakers. And the idea is that I know everybody that God has laid not only on my heart, but He's called to the Christian content creator community, it's because they need to connect with each other. There is something that is within each of us that is going to allow us to propel us to our destiny, our purpose, and we're going to go so much further together. So my heart leaps when I hear you respond in this way, Athena, and you're sharing. It's just always a reminder to me that what we're doing is not in vain. And the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, it's sharpening us to see us fulfill what God has called and positioned us to fulfill. So thank you for that beautiful reminder and that share. Jason, I've been seeing you flashing your mic, and Elizabeth. So we're going to hear again, if you wanted to chime in, go ahead,
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah, just for Oriana, thank you so much, sis, because when she had spoken, like this was months ago, I can't remember how many months ago, and I just want to say, like, keep everybody keep doing what you're doing because it takes. I think that what I was saying before, right? It's a long time if you stay in a relationship with people or you meet people, it's not just like the first sentence that you know that you can finally connect with them or the first the room you're in because Oriana, thank you so much. She just booked for my show. Okay, like last year, I asked her to be on my show, Set Free to Be Happy, where it's a great place to witness about just being set free to be happy, right? Like in Christ is that's where we have freedom, right? And although it's not always like it's at mental health as well. It's such a big thing in the pandemic, so it's one of the reasons why I started it. And she finally booked to be on the show, so thank you. And that's why we have to not think it's just like the first second. You have to have everything in your first sentence. Like it's the we're not our life span is not 5 minutes, right? So even if the society is like they want to screenshot and they want the real in 15 seconds, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to do relationships like that. Jesus, it was Jesus, perfect, and he took 3 years, and some of them were still doubting after, right? So um, I'm not saying telling y'all to take 3 years to do something, but she finally booked because now is the time she has time, like for February. So I'm looking forward to getting to interview her. And I call her my cousin because she's also, at least I think, one of her parents from Antigua. So, not that many people are, when I say I'm from, my parents from Antigua, they say, Montego Bay? Jamaican, no, right? So I'm excited because like we're all family, but she might be related. So this is Jason. And I'm done speaking.
Yes, I love it. We are a part of the body of Christ. So that's what I love about Lacreche. Oh gosh, so many names are coming to my mind and remembrance right now because honestly, just being able to see and to hear not only the connections, that's why we have this room week after week. It's a family meeting. We want you to be able to connect with each other, find other invaluable content creators, Christian content creators, and witnesses in the body because it delights our soul. It allows us, to see we're not in this alone. And so I'm just so blessed and honored every time you guys show up. This room kicks off the week of programming that we have ahead. Tomorrow it's, how are you showing up for social media, then building business boldly, then transitions, and, so many other rooms coming to you as we're onboarding new Christian content creators and we're looking towards our summit and reflecting on the retreat and the replay. There's just so much ahead, and we're just so grateful you're a part of this. Special welcome to Joe, another amazing powerhouse and brother here who just really blessed us over the course of the weekend when we had our retreat. And we're just always so grateful that we can come together and be a witness together. Thank you, everybody, for loving on our lovely sister Oriana, who's getting back in, and we've missed her greatly. And it's just amazing, as always, to see the difference, your presence, each of you, the presence that you bring to this app with what you create. When you're not here, you are surely missed. And we're just so grateful that we're able to be here and show up for each other. Elizabeth, the mic is over to you, love. I'd love for you to share, how are you creating content innovatively in this season? If you have any innovative content ideas and tips, and introduce yourself for those who are just getting to know you. The mic's over to you. You're such a blessing, sis.
Thank you, Stacy. Yes, there's a reason why Oriana says I am her twin sister. Because I think we were brought up the same way. We always find, and we have a lot of kids, both of us, and we find innovative things all around in the house with all the kids and all the different things we do as moms and business owners. But I think for me, how I get my creative innovations, which is many, 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 and I won't go into it because we will be here until next year because we are busy this year, is just spending time in God's presence. He says we are co creators with Him. And as we live a life set apart to Him, He reveals to us what we need. He shows us how we have to do it, and He gives us this amazing strategy on how to get it done. The amazing thing for me is that God is the God of creativity, and for us, that is for us. Creativity is all around us. We just need to tap into what God has done or is doing or busy thinking of. And when He gives that to us, people look and they hear Him, they see Him because they know it's not from ourselves. So, yeah, that's my secret, spending a lot of time with God, setting that moments apart, and living all for Him every moment of each day. And I'm Elizabeth, I'm signing off.
Yes, Elizabeth, you said it, sister. Oh my gosh, you're bringing me back to that moment that we began. Let's never forget the reason. Let's never forget the heart behind why we're doing what we're doing, the purpose and the mission. Let's be consistently and, repeatedly at the feet of the master creator. Oh my gosh, the creator of the universe, Jesus. Oh my gosh, our Father. And just recognizing, in that moment when you shared that, Elizabeth, the Christian content calendars that we offer, guys, please do tap in. If you are needing to have a topical study and a way to dig deeper, we have the faith filled calendar, the fruitfulness calendar, just so many different ways that you are able to dig deep in having that creativity be spurred on, be stirred up because you're spending time with God and allowing Him to direct and order your step as to what you need to create, when you need to create it, and how you need to go about allowing others to partner with you in the creation of what it is He's called you to create. So thank you for that beautiful reminder, Elizabeth. Always filled with wisdom and insight. We love and appreciate you. Now we're passing on the mic to my brother Joe. I'd love for you to share with us any innovative content ideas that you're utilizing that's working right now. You're always asking such incredible questions and getting us to think about, even on Clubhouse, how we can reach further together. And so I'd love for you to share your insights and about you. The mic's over to you, brother.
What's up, my friends? It'd help if I actually took off mute here in the Roadcaster, but that's all good. I hope everybody is doing well. It's good to see you, my friend Stacy. It's good to see you, Miss Athena. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out with me this morning. Renee, Oriana, my friend, I was so excited to get to hang out with you on Zoom the other day. That was a lot of fun. And Elizabeth, always good to see you. My friend James down there in the Texas area. And, when I think about the idea of the innovative content, honestly, I am still just trying to figure this thing out as I go. And, to me, the way that you're innovative isn't about looking around and trying to find out what everybody else is doing and, trying to figure out how I'm going to dance or how I'm going to sing, or that's just not me, right? That's not in my wheelhouse. And so, I'm a firm believer that whatever you do to get the people there, you've got to keep doing to keep them there. And so, authenticity is really a thing that is being talked about and kind of overused in Clubhouse these days, but it's so true. You just have to be you. And so from an innovative standpoint, I'm literally just going in, and instead of trying to build business content right now, I tried to create rooms here on Clubhouse that were real geared towards a specific strategy or something along those lines. And what I found is just it was a hard thing for people to engage in the Clubhouse setting because they were coming in at different times. And depending on when you came in, it may or may not make sense to the total structure. So one thing that I'm doing now is pushing towards building community. My heart really is much more about building kingdom economy. I want to build an actual economy. I know that sounds kind of weird to some, but I want to build a infrastructure that allows you, Stacy, and you, Athena, and you, Renee, and you, Oriana, and you, Elizabeth, and James, and April, to really plug in and have the capacity to grow, have the capacity to increase your income and increase your revenue, and have the resources expand in the kingdom because we're doing business together. We're functioning and operating together. And so, when I think about connecting and collaborating, that's probably the thing that I'm focused on right now more than anything, from an innovative standpoint and innovative content, is trying to figure out how to bring in people that have strengths in areas that I don't. Stacy and so many on the stage here are incredible when it comes to organization. And while I can potentially do it's not my wheelhouse. And so, organization is just, it's not my gift. My gift is really to get up and I can help people. I can talk to you off the cuff and help you with whatever you need from a financial standpoint, or share whatever wisdom I have. I can do that easily, but I've got to surround myself with people that I can collaborate with to actually do something that allows us to step into something greater than ourselves. And that's kind of when the 1 + 1 = 5, right? That's when life gets fun. That's when we start making kingdom impact. So I don't know if that's exactly what you were looking for, but that's the thing that came to mind. That's where my heart is right now, is the collaboration. With that said, if anybody in this room would like to collaborate, you'd like to connect, one of the things that I did with somebody else, I don't see her in the room right now, I know she had another room, was Kelly Williams. We were able to invite people to each other's groups. And what that had allowed us to do is we actually both saw about 400 people increase in our groups. And just you were able to connect with other people's network, and that enabled us to not just increase the number, because numbers don't mean anything. It's really about finding lives, finding people that connect with your message. And when you can do that, that puts you in position to make impact. And that's really what we're going for. So with that said, my name is Joe. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be here, Stacy. Always excited to be in your rooms, always excited to be connected. Hey, listen, if you are not connected with Stacy, make sure you do that. And if you're not connected with the group, make sure you go to the top of the screen there, hit that little Monopoly house, join the group, invite other Christians. I'm telling you, my friends, that is how kingdom wins. When we stop playing into media divisions that are pushing us all against each other, and we start pushing into understanding it's about bringing kingdom people together, and God's people need to really do some amazing things, and we've got the opportunity. We just have to get past all the outside perspectives that are pushing us away from each other. My name is Joe. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Wow, thank you so much, brother. So much that you said there. I know it would take a while for me to unpack, but I think what really, really resonated, not just with myself, but even others. I'm getting some DMs, and we're just so appreciative that each and every one of you are here in the listening lounge and, receiving value in this talk, in this conversation. And, for those of you, thank you, Evelyn. She said, this is a great discussion. And some of you who are also sharing this out to those who are on Clubhouse and on Twitter and all the other places that it's possible for other Christian content creators to tap in. Welcome. We've missed you so much, Sophia. And she's been on camera with us in times past through our YouTube room. And I know you've had a lot going on, sis. And we're just so grateful that God has led you here to this room today. And April, another fellow moderator who was a part of our retreat this weekend. Welcome up, sis. And James, oh my gosh, we've missed you, brother. He's also always an active participant in our YouTube rooms, and so many of you in the listening lounge. If you want to come up, we're going to close off hand raising at the top of the hour, but it's just so important what Joe said. Joe pointed out this collaboration. We're always about that, collaboration over competition. Are you hearing the voice of God? Let me tell you, before I do a room, I speak to the Lord. I was one of those kind of weird children. growing up in a pastoring household in ministry, from my grandfather to my father to just every on all sides, both my mom's side and my dad's side, and just recognizing the voice of God is so vital, and never want to go a place where God isn't and where He hasn't led me to go, because you know what? Sometimes God will put it in your spirit not to go to a certain place because He's protecting you. The Holy Spirit that lives
Mm,
inside of you is protecting
uh-uh.
you from maybe going into harm's way. And so, even the same concept is true when you're looking to create your content. God gives you a revelation, He gives you a download, He gives you an idea. And sometimes, some of us, we don't run with the idea. And then, when you see other people going forward with it, and you hit yourself and you say, oh my word, why didn't I do this? And you're questioning. But I believe when you're in tune and you are spending time in God's presence, you're spending time in the right places with the right people, as we always say, that iron sharpeneth iron. And all of these incredible speakers and moderators, they have sharpened me and they will sharpen you as well. So do connect with them, do follow them here as well as over on Instagram. They're going to unlock some of the best conversations and rooms, especially if you're loving this. You're going to love, as you continue connecting, you're going to love the meaning and the value that it is going to spur forward in your life, your mission, your vision, and the ministry that God has given you as a Christian content creator. And so I'm just so appreciative because Joe pointed out, taking the time to ask people you're connected with, are you willing to collaborate in this way so that we can see an amplification of our message that is in alignment? We can see growth. When Joe said 400 members increase, can we all tap our mics and celebrate what God has done? That is incredible, Joe. And Joe made that call in our group chat. He said, who would be willing, if you are excited and willing to go ahead and just be able to tap into each other's followership, each other's audiences? That is why we podcast and collaborate and do interviews. I heard Jason talk about the fact that he's had a number of people here on the stage, like Ariana and April and so many others who've been able to answer that call and connect and make time, to go further, not just talking about it, right? But if you can find time in your schedule and it is in alignment with what you're looking to maybe bring forward to your audience, know that you don't have all the answers, right? And so sometimes you can you can bring other people on to help provide value that your audience needs. And so I'm just so grateful. Some of you have heeded to that call. You're making the time to go deeper. You're making the time to build community, relationships, because at the end of the day, that is what is going to matter. That is what is going to last. The relationships. You can never go down in the grave with the materialistic things. And of course, you can never go forward with just the things that you are acquiring. You are going to see results from the relationship that you've built with the Lord, first and foremost, and you've built with the people of God, the souls that you've allowed to tap into the message that God has given you for the discipleship, the discipling ways that you are building up others, you're encouraging others to fulfill their destiny, their calling, and the mission. First, we're called as Christians to be as Christ was, as believers, to spread the Great Commission. And how are you building that and getting that forward? You don't have to be preaching. You don't have to be hitting the Bible over the head of someone, but in the way that you love and you treat each other and you treat others that are called to you and your community. That is what is going to make all of the difference. And so we're seeing that in all of our speakers and all of our moderators here today. And if this is your first time here, make sure to not only stay connected, invite others in. Let them receive the light and the love and the warmth that we hope will just spark something in them to get innovative, to reach out, to send a DM. If there's one thing that resonates with you, let the speaker know. and let them see that their share, their voice, their gift, it is not in vain when they show up. So thank you to each and every one of you showing up, whether you're in the listening lounge or whether you're here on the stage. So now we are going to hear from James. James, I'd love for you to share with us, how are you innovating content in this season? Any ideas or tips you wish to share? And let us know about you as well.
Okay, two quick tips, and then I'll share something else. One tip is to keep it simple. I mean, I bought a new laptop Pro, my MacBook Pro, and Final Cut Pro, and I'm spending all this time trying to learn this new program. When really my iPad with LumaFusion for $30, it does everything I need it to. And I was in a helicopter last week filming, and I bought a new gimbal for my Sony mirrorless camera and all this stuff. It didn't work as good as my phone. It didn't work as good as my GoPro. So I've been trying to really up my game by everything. But, I call it GAS, Gear Acquisition Syndrome. So you got to be careful. Sometimes we get wrapped up in the production so much that we're overcomplicating things. So just try to keep it simple. The tip number two is I've really worked on trying to keep people engaged by having something happen every 3 to 5 seconds. So I'm on YouTube, so I try to have like a picture in the left, a picture in the right. How do they, they get bored really quick. So you got to keep it moving. To us, what we're saying may be important, but we got to put ourselves in their shoes, that the information that we're.
Hey, brother, I think we lost you there. Are you still able? I think he was on the road, so he may have gotten to a dead zone. When you do come back in, go ahead and flash your mic, James, and we'll have you finish out your share. And I'm just so appreciative. James said it. Keep it simple. For those of you who are new here, we have a Keep It Simple KISS framework that we always talk about. It's actually keep it simplified and streamlined. And so, of course, we always go deeper, whether it's in our sessions, talking about how you are able to utilize the right tools, make the right connections. I see a few of you who have shared out this room. You're talking about being innovative, collaborating. Thank you, Demika. Thank you, Athena. Look at the rhymery there. Thank you guys for seeing the value as you're sharing this out, the value in connecting with others as believers in the body, and of course, collaborating so that you can amplify, and even in an innovative way, people not only want to be educated, right? But they want to be entertained. And another element of edutainment is seeing how you can pique people's interest by asking, the hard questions, the right questions, and having all these variation of perspectives, like you see with our panel discussions, like you see with our retreats and our summits. I mean, it's mind blowing. It's incredible to see what people are able to glean and receive because someone else said sometimes the same thing that you've been saying for a while, but it took another person who has a special flavor, another unique way of delivery that allowed it to really minister and resonate with the person on the other end listening in. And so that is the beauty. If our mission is to fulfill the Great Commission as believers, as Christian content creators, then we are not going to feel any strife. We're not going to feel in any way that someone else walking in their greatness and sharing even the same things that we're sharing is going to be taking away from us. Because you know what? At the end of the day, we know there's specific people that are assigned to us. We know there are specific people who are called to us, and we're not being stingy. We have a mindset of abundance, knowing that others who are in our sphere of influence that we've introduced to our audience, that we've allowed to come on our platforms and to work with us and to pour in with us, it is going to advance the kingdom of God and what it is He's called and positioned us to create and to put out there to those who need to receive it. And so it's such a beautiful blessing that we're able to lead that charge. Elizabeth said it in one of her posts post recently from the retreat, and I never thought of it this way when she said, I know I'm called to be leader of leaders, and I know a lot of you are called to do the same. You have people who are in your communities that are called to lead, and with what you create, you are sparking something in them to be visionaries, to launch out into the deep, and you cannot remain silent. You have to keep fanning the flame in what you create, and when someone else runs with it, you just go ahead and look up to Abba Father and say, God, thank you for allowing me to be that light and to spark change and to spark in others that they too can do this. They too can fulfill the mission and the vision that they've been given. And if I can be an inspiration, if I can be a guidance, if I can be a mentor in what I say and what I do in the communities and in whatever we create, see that as a blessing. See that as something that God has positioned you to do for such a time as this. So I want to thank you guys. You guys are just, you're sparking so much. Elizabeth, she's been commenting over here on YouTube and she says, keep it simple. Yes, yes, yes. Keep going and keep people engaged. Keep it moving. Thank you, my sister. And so we're going to hear our next share. Or James, I saw you flash your mic. Are you back? Go ahead and flash your mic if you're back. All right, so he may have had an issue again. So let's go on to our next amazing moderator, April. I'd love for you to share with us any innovative content ideas that you wish to share, and then let us know about you so people in the audience can also connect with you, love. Over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stacey. Hello to every single person in the space today, all the amazing co-mods and everyone on stage speaking in the listening lounge. It is always an honor to be in space with you, Stacey, inside of this fantastic community, and we like to say family. But I'm April Nicole Scipio, the More Coach, because I believe that God has more for your life. And I'm just so incredibly honored to just share with you. I love the title, Connect and Collaborate. And I really was focusing on the word connect because that is what God has been allowing me to do lately. And one thing I always remind myself of is, you know what? You can't be, or you shouldn't be, the smartest one in the room. Like, that is my goal. And, God has recently made it super clear to me that He's called me to infiltrate media, the media space. So yes, I'm going to do a plug for my book. I love Joe. Joe is my friend, and he's always encouraging me to talk about my book. So I do have a new devotional out called There's More. And it's a 52-week devotional where we're just digging in. God, I know you're talking to me. What else do you want to say? What more do you want to say? And we're going through that book on a morning show that I have. So I do a morning show every single morning, Monday through Friday at 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on my Live Lovely media platforms. But I say all that to say, God has called me to media. So I'm finding myself in spaces with other people in the media space. And I'm realizing there's a lot I don't know, but that's a good thing. Like, the enemy would want you to think, oh, look at all that you don't know. But God's like, no, I'm sitting you at the table so you can learn. I need you to connect with these people because they have things that you need so that you can fulfill God's plan and the purposes for your life. So I actually just want to encourage people in the room today. When we talk about innovative content ideas, that connect piece is so important because you can't move to where you need to go by yourself. Like, we need each other. We need to learn from each other. We need to grow from each other. So just keep an open heart and open mind. So I'm just excited about what God has for me as I'm learning all things media, things I didn't know, some behind the scenes things. And I'm just excited to really just use my gifts to impact the hearts of women globally as I infiltrate media. So just be on the lookout. April Nicole Scipio I will be a household name at some point in my life, spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is April, and I'm done speaking.
Yes, sister, you better speak it and proclaim it and do the work. I love it. Oh, April, so intentional infiltrating media. If there's anyone that needs to be propelled and sharing, it is those who have the truth. That is a witness. So thank you, April. You know, April spoke such an incredible message when she was able to proclaim, along with so many other Christian content creators, with the apostolic authority that we've been given, what it is that we are looking to do and accomplish. What is the plan? What is the vision? What is the mission? And we're always putting this into motion. So appreciative, April, when you bring it back to everyone's remembrance that we were created for more. Everybody, make sure that you tap in with April. Make sure that that devotional is an incredible resource, and that morning show. I just wish I was more of an early riser and not a night owl. At some point, I'll have to maybe set my alarm, go to bed early, and rise up early to receive what it is that I know that you are putting out there and blessing others with. And so we want to encourage each and every one of you. Special shout out, Lori, also one of our partners and plan members in the listening lounge, not able to come up at this moment. Oh, well, she is now. I guess I just had to speak her name, right? And now she's here. But I want to invite each and every one of you. And I'm just so grateful because we have so many who are going to be tapping in today. And I want you to connect with each and every one of them, you know, consistently showing up here as Christian content creators. And we're just so grateful for what God has deposited inside of you and what you're running with as a result of receiving inspiration and knowing that you can do this thing. You don't have to do it alone. You can do it in community with us. So many of you have seen support with the visions that God has given you. Some of you have been called to create some of the same things that we're creating. And you know what? We are all excited because when we see that we're sparking something, we know God is in it and it's not taking away from any of us. And you know, Joe, you sent me an amazing back channel. I don't know if you're up for sharing this because I think there are others who can sometimes get disheartened and discouraged when they feel like, you know, they have a community that they're called to and they're trying to help. Maybe they have a coaching program and they're saying some of the things that, you know, others will come in and say, and they're wondering, okay, why is it not landing? And God is saying that you are not the only one that needs to be speaking to them. You need to connect with others and have them come in and really be able to drive home what you have been called and been trying to get across to the people in the community that you are building. And so that is a reminder, honestly, as to how God works. We were never meant to do community alone. We were never meant to go ahead and be the only voice that other people hear in our audience. We were never meant to go ahead and just operate as a silo and having our own little building of kingdoms. We were always meant to come together, to share together, to commune with each other as we commune with God. And I believe that that is the beautiful example that we are setting for others. We're set apart to not be like the world. Even though we're in the world, we're not of the world, right? And so one of the questions I sent by email to all of our subscribers, and you guys are able to gain access to when you take the time to actually click the link up above, you will see and connect with other incredible admins and leaders in this club. Some of them are that are looking to do rooms in this upcoming year. You're seeing there that their profiles may not be up there yet, but that will be coming to you very soon because that is our mission. We want every single day of the week, you can come here, you can be fed, and you can receive the motivation and inspiration that you need to create content for God's glory and to impact lives for eternity. That is our mission. And so every moderator you're seeing here, they're in alignment with that. I've heard from them at one point or another because they've been in our rooms consistently. And we just want to remind you that you can have a community to go deeper with. So when you click that link up above, you will be able to opt into their email list. We want them to build their email list as well. And so before we hear back from James, because I see that he's flashing his mic, I want you to think about these questions as you're creating your content effectively. And I shared with our community, and some of you are in this room because you received this email. What can I address over and over again in a unique way? what can you address over and over again? Maybe you created a piece of content on your podcast and you have not yet tapped in to all of the different amazing thoughts and concepts that were brought forth. And you can go back, read the transcript. You can go back and listen for the sound bites that you can put forward to your audience that you have not yet shared, that is going to actually amplify the message, the program, the upcoming event, and whatever it is that you're looking to bring to your audience. How can you find a way to get it over to them, get your point across in a unique way, even if you're saying the same thing over and over again? Because honestly, people need to hear a message at least between 10 to 20 times before they take action, which is why you need to be creating the same sort of conversations in different unique ways here on Clubhouse, on your podcast episodes. I mean, every sort of ways you can be effective and innovative with that one piece of content. Think about it. Are you utilizing the right tools to amplify your message? That's the second question. We're going to add the toolkit in just a moment so you can get the tools that we're using that can automate your message, whether it's headliner, whether it's automating, going in, having a framework, having an actual template. And all you have to do now is change out the title, change out the image so that Google and Pinterest will be able to pick up that this is a new graphic, this is a new content, even if you're saying the same thing. You're finding an innovative, creative, God-given way to bring it forth to the masses so that the right people can find you and they can connect with your message. We'll go through some others as we continue on, but Joe, my brother, let me hear if you want to go ahead and share what you shared with me, and then we'll go to James. Over to you.
Thanks, Stacy. I was just laughing. You were talking about how so many times people come in, and even after you've said the same thing, they come in and they're able to say something else, and just a different voice allows them to hear that different perspective. And I'll just tell you, when I was in ministry, this used to absolutely drive me berserk. You would sit there and you would, week after week, you would give a message and you would pour into people and you would share things. And then, you'd have a guest speaker come in that didn't speak half as good as you and didn't do things half as good as you. And then, they would say the exact same thing that you said over and over and over again. And as soon as they left, everybody's coming up to you going, man, thank you so much for bringing Stacy to the stage and allowing her to speak, because I mean, what she said was exactly what I needed. And it just really impacted me in such an amazing way. And I'm sitting there going, I've said the same thing for the past 6 months. And then Stacy comes in and says it, and all of a sudden it's the greatest story you've ever heard. Oh, come on. And so I was just laughing because it really is the way it works. And we need to recognize that that's kind of the way we're all built, that we hear something, you hear it so many times, and sometimes it's just hearing it in a different voice or a different inflection, or, it's just the right timing, right? Sometimes you have people that are sowing and they're getting things there, and you have people that come in and they're part of the harvesting. And so it's a matter of, we're all in this together. We're building the kingdom, and we need to make sure that we have that perspective. So my name's Joe. Thanks so much, Stacey.
Thank you, brother. I just love that we can find the joy in it all. It's just such a witness, right? Our perspectives, our glass, everything is so full when we are able to see that God is sometimes, shaving away certain things when we think, okay, we've got all the answers. God says, you know what? No. I'm going to go ahead and show you in a wonderful humility way that we don't have all the answers, and we really do need to connect with others and have them also. I know there's a saying that a prophet is not usually sometimes celebrated in their own house or in their own community or city. And then even this concept as well that sometimes you really do need to make sure that even as a parent, even as someone that is building up others, you're mentoring others, and you recognize that they need to hear it from someone else that's on the outside, sometimes for that click to happen or that light bulb to go off. And then that is why you need to be strategic about who you're partnering with, who you're aligning yourself with, who you're inviting to come in. Maybe have a discussion in advance and say, okay, this is the mission. This is what it is that we're looking to do in the coming months, in the coming weeks. I love to see how we are going to both win from collaborating with this. What do you have that's coming up that may be different from what I have that's coming up? And how can we find a way to be able to strengthen each other's points, each other's offerings, so that we can see everyone win as a result of this collaboration. And so that's one of the things when I utilize Dubzado and I send in that questionnaire, I need to hear from everyone, what are you currently promoting, so that I can see where to put you in my content calendar that is going to strengthen the topic that we're delving in as a community. And so what does that take? It takes planning. It takes you being able to show up and set aside that time like we do as Christian content creators and fearless creators. We don't just talk about it, but we actually have time. Of course, we've put together a content calendar, we've put together resources, we've given you the tools, but sometimes you need to do the hard part. You need to do the work. You need to just sit down, be still, hear from God, and then take action and plan out your content so that you can see how it is all flowing. It's all in alignment and it is all going to yield results. And that is why we create rooms and conversations like this, to get those wheels turning and to see you actually do the work. I want to say, Elizabeth, she said here on YouTube, she says, April, you are already a household name in my house. You go, sis. Let's flush our mics. I just love it. We're all about celebrating and just cheering each other on. And I've heard a few of you say that. Like, everybody in our household knows each other's name. Like, my husband, sometimes he'll hear the phone and he'll say, oh, so and so, and I'm like, babe, how do you know? He didn't even say his name. But my husband comes to know everybody because I'm walking around the house sometimes with my phone. And I know a lot of us do the same thing. So it's just amazing. There are others that are speaking into the lives of our loved ones, speaking into the lives and the ears of ourselves and our communities, and we're all the better for it. Thank you for that reminder, Joe. Love, 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 and appreciate you. James, flash your mic if you're back and you wanted to finish your share.
Yeah, you can't put it on airplane mode. I'd like to figure out on my phone how I can go to do not disturb. I've been looking in the settings. I know it's in there. So I think I got my two shares out. I think about keep it simple and keep them engaged before I was cut off. Is that right?
Yes, that's what you were sharing, brother.
Yeah. Keep them engaged. But I also wanted to share. Sometimes we get God works through our channels in ways that we don't think. I think I kind of touched on this before and told you I was going to go, but I was in Colorado for the last 9 days. A guy reached out to me through my YouTube channel about drones and how he saw some of my footage and knew what I was doing. So I got to go to Colorado and for 9 days, and I'm going to go up there every week for a month and help prevent forest fires with drones. So we're hired through the Department of Interior to map out drones with LiDAR, red. I'm not going to get real technical, but basically, 19 firefighters lost their lives in Granite Canyon up there a few years ago because they were stuck in one of these box canyons because the fire came at them faster than they thought. And then we're using helicopters to map out where we're going to drop the seeds to replant the forest fires out there in Boulder and just things like that. But when I got there, I really found out why God sent me. These three guys their lives are a mess. They're going through divorces. So when we go to eat and they see me pray, they're like looking at each other weird, like, what's he doing? And so the more I poured into these guys, man, they're all going through divorce and they're doing really good. They're changing the life. They're making the world a better place with what they're doing. But they need me in their life. They really do. And they can feel it that they're all looking for fulfillment through what they're doing, but there's only one true fulfillment. So one, I get to help these guys get their life straightened out. I'm sending them sermons and scriptures, and then number two, everything we're doing up there is making the world a better place. And it's just, I mean, it's better than being paid from a YouTube channel that I get to have the experience of doing something like this. And I could get real technical, but it's really uh, and pushing the boundaries of this technology. So thank you so much for letting me speak. Thanks.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Can we celebrate our brother James? The doors that God has opened. Oh my word. That's incredible, James. I know you were already growing leaps and bounds and doing incredible things on YouTube. And just to hear how God has opened the door, you are a witness, and what you're passionate about, you are able to be, even fulfill that great commission. You're able to spread the message and the hope and the truth in the word of God to others, and how it's even converge with what you were doing as content. That is what God will do when we make ourselves available, and when we stay in alignment and we stay at his feet and we allow him to direct us with the content, and other people find us and extend opportunities to us. So thank you for that beautiful reminder, James. I want to give a special welcome, Charlene, Dr. Lori, Georgette, who has joined us up on the stage. We're so grateful, and we're always excited to have you here in community with us. And I want to make sure that I honor all the voices today. And I did say earlier that I was going to change out the link, so I will do that in just a moment. So guys, grab whatever you need from the landing page up above before I change it out. Join the email list of our leaders and the freebies that they're offering. Look out for the rooms that are coming up. We now have the Google embeddable calendar, so you can subscribe to that calendar and you can get the updates for upcoming rooms that our Christian content creators and leaders are adding to the actual schedule. And we don't want you to miss it. So tomorrow we have on the schedule, How Are You Showing Up? That's led by April, that you see here on the stage. And then we have Building Business Boldly. We have Transitions. Renee normally leads that. We have so many rooms coming to you. Co-working. As we continue on, we do that in the very beginning of the year on Zoom. And we have so many rooms. At the beginning of the month, we always have that room for open to everyone. And every week we do that with our plan members. So we give extra special care depending on what level you are in and what you need help with, so you can create your content fearlessly, create content for God's glory, and to impact lives for eternity. So we're going to pass on the mic to Sophia, who's been patiently waiting. Go ahead and let us know any innovative content idea tips that you have, and how people can connect and collaborate with you.
Oh my gosh, I have so missed being with you guys. But I have been so busy. I'm like, I don't have time to be on Clubhouse. I don't have time to do this. So, but tip for anybody who is on TikTok. I have been working TikTok. I was working with a new client that I just had about 3 months ago, and he ended up going viral. And it has been amazing since then. But TikTok tip: record 7-second videos. Everybody, record 7-second videos. Whatever your niche is, put that on the screen. Have words on the screen. That is my tip. When I say, I have been doing it for the last 2 days, and it has been nothing short of amazing. Some of the results that I've seen just by doing that little tidbit alone. So, of course, I stay within my niche, which is branding and marketing, and it has been amazing. So I just wanted to give that quick tip. Thank you so much for this room. Thank you for staying the course. Um, it's just been amazing. As kingdom builders, as kingdom content creators, as kingdom entrepreneurs, God is definitely moving right now. So you have to keep your ear to the street. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay consistent. I'm talking about everybody in this room. Stay consistent. Somebody is going to see you, even if you are discouraged. But think about it. Somebody is watching you. If you're getting views, somebody is watching you. They may not comment. They may not like. They may not share. But you are impacting their lives. They will come back. And my name is Sophia Stink, the CEO, and I use my mic.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Sophia, can we all tap our mics and love on Sophia? We're so glad you're back. We're so glad you're here. And we're so glad with the witness that you continue to be, sis. I know you've had so many transparent, vulnerable moments, even in tears, that you share on Instagram. And I would just want to encourage you, stay the course as well, my sister. As you are encouraging us, we want you to remain and receive that encouragement. And so we're just so grateful grateful. You know, guys, this is a place where even if you have to step away for a while, when you come back, we're here with open arms, just welcoming you back into the fold. And we're just so, so grateful that God led you here back again in community with us. And we're just so grateful for what God is going to continue to do as you put your hands to the plow and you allow God to use you, sis. We appreciate you. We're going to hear from Charlene, who is next in line. And I wanted to make sure I did send a message to you, lovely Ariana. We normally sometimes with these rooms, we give an opportunity for different moderators to lead different segments. I did want to do this as a power hour room, but I also want to honor all of the voices at the end. You know, we always cover each other, cover your content in prayer. And so we definitely want to make sure that for those of you also who are sharing over on YouTube, because we are simulcasting this room, we normally just do it in our Friday room, but I was just led to go ahead and have our Tuesday room as you're connecting and collaborating and we're equipping each other, that it's going out to everyone who needs to know that we're here, right? We have multiple brands, but we can never forego the mission that is going to actually help people's lives to be transformed. And our mission is to create content for God's glory to impact lives for eternity. Sola over on YouTube says, listening here on YouTube. See? So we want to amplify the message. We're so glad you're here, Tola. She's normally in our Friday rooms as well. And so we just want to make sure that people who need to find us as a community, they need to hear your story. They need to hear your message. They need to connect and collaborate. They will be able to receive that reminder and that glimpse into what you're doing and in who you are and in what resonates with what they're trying to do and with who they are. And so that's why we're coming to you in LinkedIn. For whatever reason, the audio wasn't coming through on Wisdom, so I will repurpose this content. That is the value of having the right systems, the right, things in place as tools, so that when things don't work out as it should the first time around, you can go ahead and repurpose it. We repurpose our recordings as well for the podcast. We have the Radiant Pearl Living podcast, encouraging you to plan for a radiant life you love for Christian content creators, and we have the Fearless Creator podcast. And so I mentioned earlier that we utilize Headliner so we can find creative, effective ways to be able to keep amplifying and getting the message out there in multiple ways, in multiple formats, and at multiple times, so that anybody who needs to receive it won't miss it. Because how many times do people need to hear a message before they take action? Anybody wants to say it on mic if you've been listening? How many times?
10 to 20.
Yes, Charlene, you got it. You're the star student today. Oh my gosh. So yes, so we want you guys to position yourself to find innovative, creative ways. I only shared 2 questions. I'm going to share the others in part 2. Sometimes we have to do that for this room because it's so meaty, so much great content. We're streaming to LinkedIn. We're streaming to YouTube. That's where some of you are tuning in and sending in your comments, and we're so grateful. And then we're also streaming to the Facebook group and the Facebook business page. So, Ariana, love, are you able to go ahead and run with this?
Yes, I'll do my best, Stacy.
You're amazing and you can do this. So Ariana is going to keep the flow going and she's going to hear from all of you tremendous. Andrea just joined us up on the stage. Welcome, Andrea. Jason, so good to see you, brother. And so we'll just continue to hear these tremendous shares until we close out in prayer. Over to you, Ariana.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Wow, this room has just been so amazing. I'm just appreciating so much that everyone is pouring in. Our sister over there was Sophia. She was sharing about her, about that tip for the TikTok. So that was pretty amazing. And it's just interesting. You know, she said consistency, and that has come across even as we're talking about creating our content and these innovative ways and ideas that we can have. So up next, if we can have our star pupil, since she came and she had the correct answer, Miss Charlene, would you feel free to go ahead and share with us what are some innovative and creative ways you'd like to give us for sharing ideas for content creation? Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ariana. Thank you, Stacy. Good afternoon to the rest of the mods and to the listeners. So I am Charlene. I am your faith-based money coach. And one way that I have found resonates with my audience, and I'm going to put a caveat here. I use revelations that I get in my quiet time to create content. Now, the caveat is not every revelation that you get, it's for the public. Some it's for you, the individual. But I have found that sometimes the Lord will download things in my spirit as I am reading the scripture, as I'm meditating, and it's for my wider audience. So just yesterday, I created a piece of content on Instagram that it's my version of viral. So it was about the Proverbs 31 woman and how she manages money like a boss. Now, it resonated with so many persons because it was a fresh insight into the scripture. No one else, or hardly anyone, talks about the Proverbs 31 as an entrepreneur, as an investor, as a savvy businesswoman. And I just felt led to share that piece of content, and it went wild. So I have realized that sometimes God will download strategies and content in the quiet time, which is to be shared to the wider audience. And I know sometimes we might shy away and think that we're not preachers, we're not ministers, but I believe that as long as we are followers of Jesus Christ, we have been given the mandate to spread his gospel, to spread his word, and we should lean into that even through our business and through our content. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I pass back the mic.
Thank you so much, Miss Charlene. Wow, that was so good. It's funny you had mentioned about spending that alone time with God, and I know that that is so vital when we are taking that quiet time. And like you said, sometimes it's for the audience, but sometimes it's for us. And how much of a blessing is it that we consume that, and then we're able to use that and implement the things that God gives us specifically, and then we can take it and then share it with others. It was said earlier, I believe Joe and Stacy were kind of going back and forth, kind of telling us, sometimes we can share things and it comes across differently. And I think Stacy mentioned it. I was thinking about my children. I've shared things with them so many times, and they're like, "Yeah, mom, we hear you." And then somebody else will say it, and it's like, "Mom, did you know A, B, C, and D?" And I'm like, I'll just say, "Are you kidding me right now? Oh man, I've never heard that before." But it's really funny because, like you just said, it takes 10 to 20 times sometimes for things to register. And I think about even when God is sharing something with us, he'll tell us something and maybe we're unsure and it has to come again and again. So that was just a great share, about how whatever it is, whoever it is, everyone that is on the stage, our lovely moderators, those in the audience, you may have something, and sometimes you need to, well, not sometimes, all the time, you need to get it out there because it might be your way of presenting it. Your way is what's going to draw those people. Your way is what's going to impart into their hearts. And it's like, oh, wow, I've never thought about it that way. I've never heard it in that tone. Your tone, it might be a little giggly. It might be surly. It might be soft spoken. Whatever it is, they need you. So thank you so much for that, Charlene. At this time, can we pass the mic to our lovely Lori? How are you, sis? All right, Lori, if you're ready, if you could tap your mic, I think she might be busy. So we're going to pass it on over to Georgette. I guess if you all can start flashing your mics down below so I can know. Oh, okay. We see someone popped out. So, Georgette, are you available to share?
Yes,
Oh,
I am.
Lori. All right, Georgette. We'll go back to you, Lori. Georgette, go ahead. Share with us some innovative and creative ways for creating content. Your ideas. Over to you.
Well, I'm in agreement with the last speaker has said. Today I wrote a post, and it was actually I was writing to myself, and it got a little bit more feedback than I expected. Um, for me, I realized it is in my quiet place with God because we are Christian content creators, right? So it's in my quiet place with God when I'm able to really reflect on the things that He would have me to say, not only for myself, but for other people as well. But I think that sometimes we get so focused on trying to give a word or give encouragement to someone else and we forget about ourselves. So I think that being who you are also include you in your content. And the last thing I would say is just do it. I know in the beginning, just a few months ago, I was not one to do reels. I was not one to do TikToks or anything like that. And I have stepped out of my comfort zone and begin to create content that is just
it's been getting a lot of feedback. So mistakes and all, the first thing to do is just to get started, and then as you grow, you can continue to just correct things that need to be corrected. And I yield the mic at this time. Thanks for allowing me to speak.
Hey, let me jump in right here for a second. Georgette, you said that you were doing quiet stuff. I saw one of your most recent posts about your your conference, and it was awesome. But there was nothing quiet about it. You were amazing, and don't discount yourself because that was absolutely phenomenal. You're doing some great things. I didn't even get to comment, but as I was watching it, I felt a breakthrough just in the spirit, and I know so many other people did as well. So you keep doing what you do. But I just I thought that was kind of funny, just in light of that post. And you're amazing. Thanks.
You see what just happened there, family? Okay. So again, you welcome everyone. You're in the Christian Content Creator Club space. Today's topic we are being held. Well, our hostess, lovely hostess, is Stacy, and we are hosting talking about innovative and creative ways and ideas for content creation. So my brother Joe just spoke about our sister Georgette about this phenomenal thing, and I encourage you, gently tap on her face there and check out what she has going on over there on her Instagram and whatnot. And I want you to do that. But Joe just said something that was really key. At least I took it in. And he said, I didn't have a chance to comment, but could you hear the energy in his voice? Could you hear the chuckling and the giggling and oh, it was so impactful to me. And so you have to understand that when we have these things and we're sharing them, people might not, but they're going to tell someone. They're going to comment. It's going to make, things in their belly leap. So again, Georgette spoke on it. She said, get started. She said she wasn't the one, but she started and she has launched. So what a blessing. Thank you for that. Share, Georgette. And thank you, Joe, for just reminding us about that. And at this time, if I could, Lori, are you available, sis? We haven't forgotten you, my brothers Jason and Jamal, but I want to see if Lori's ready, our lady here.
I am here. How is everyone this afternoon? Good. I want to thank you, Ariana, and also Stacy. This is a space and a platform that was very new to me not too long ago. And I have to ditto what Georgette said. I was the behind the scenes, let me create and do things and then put it out there for someone else to take the ball and run with it, and never one to really promote what I was doing or anything like that. And so thanks to Stacy and everyone in the group, I feel more confident and able to do the things that I need to do and have known that I need to do. Sometimes we know we need to do stuff and we just wait for somebody else to come and do it for us or do it instead of us. And then oftentimes when that happens, we get upset because we didn't get it done. And so I want to emphasize what Joe and Georgette said. Just do it. And sometimes people see what you're doing behind the scenes and they kind of push you forward. And Stacy did that to me, challenging me to set up my pages and do certain things. And then yesterday I had a call from someone from my home state, my home city of Chicago, who wants me to do an international podcast with her. And my niche is, let me back up a second. My niche is very specific. It is in the realm of Alzheimer's and related dementias, and specifically supporting caregivers. So I have a very specific niche. And because of that, I thought I only had needed to run in certain circles. But when other people hear your story, like the woman I spoke with yesterday, who someone shared my story with her, and she called and asked if I would begin doing an international podcast on my niche. And as well, I got a phone call back saying that someone is going to contact me next week because she also wants to set up, um, and I guess kind of like April, she also wants to set up on her media station for me to do live programming. And so that was just really, really exciting for me because you think eventually you'll do those things. And I think God has a way of stepping in, and saying, you asked for your territory to be increased. What are you waiting for? And so if you don't step out and do it, you kind of get that gentle shove. It's time, Lori. What are you going to do with what I'm giving you? What are you going to do with what I've told you to do? When are you going to reach the people that I've told you need to be reached? And so for me, the innovation comes in all of it because it's all pretty new to me. And email and text messaging, I can do that all day. But the Instagram, and I think I heard someone talking about, I can't remember who it was, if it was Georgette or April, talking about the 7-minute, 7-second clips. And I keep saying I have Instagram page, but I haven't put myself out there on it. And so I need to really do that. And so I'm just excited to hear all of the different innovations, all of the different things that people are doing to see how it can benefit the niche that I serve and people caregivers who only may have 7-10 seconds a day to get a bit of information or to get something that will spark them to keep going. And so that just really speaks to me and to what I need to be doing. So I want to thank Stacy, Oriana, Renee, everyone who is putting forth this information to empower us to do what we need to do, as well as encourage us and give us that swift kick or soft kick to say, get on out there and do it. So I think I've spoken enough or long enough, but thank you all again. And I return the mic to Ariana.
Thank you so much, Lori. And you spoke beautifully. That was so encouraging and just holding on and remembering that. So thank you. I want to welcome everyone again. You are in the Christian Content Creator Club space. If you look up above, you will see a link that you can, well, for one, let's start here. We'll see the beautiful greenhouse. You want to click on that so that way you stay in connection with us. But we also have some goodies for you. So you'll see the link up above. You can click on that. In the Fearless Creator, we have a toolkit. So we have the Christian Creator Club space, and our sister community is the Fearless Creator. So I want you to make sure that you definitely stay plugged in with ways to connect with us and just get these valuable tools that can help continue to launch you out. You've heard it that you need to take that step forward so that way you can move in action and just build in your community. April down below, lovely April, she often, our household name, she's often shared about how we are a family here. And let me tell you, it is so true. When I first came to the Christian Content Creator Club space, it was when I was actually in bed. I was very sick, very ill. And these beautiful people, these men and women of God, they just really carried me, just pouring into me spiritually. And I'm going to tell you, a year later, I'm still here. And they have been so vital just in my growth and development. I'm just grateful for that. And God set up that timing. So it's not just for, it allows us to build up spiritually, but it also, God, He has everything. So He's also helping us in our businesses, in our ministries, but you have to stay connected. And the way to do that is, again, you just hit that link and don't be afraid to talk to people. These people, they're not untouchable. There so many of them have been so willing to connect. Joe has talked about collaborating. And so you want to take the time, pray and see what God says and leads. But if you're in this place, there is somebody here that you should be connecting with. So at this time, I want to pass on the mic to Jason. I believe it's Dr. Jason, Dr. J. If you're available, brother, can you go ahead and share with us? We're talking about or discussing just innovative, creative ways for content creation and whatever else God has laid on your heart, brother Wisdom.
Yeah, hey everybody. So good to see you all. So many familiar faces. April, what's up? How you doing, April? Man, again, thank you guys for creating such an awesome space and place. This is one of the first clubs that I found on Clubhouse when I joined last summer, and I have not stopped tuning in. So thank you, Stacy, Oriana, and the Christian content creator family, as April says. Absolutely. Real quickly, just for anyone who, as far as content creation, this is painfully practical, but it's something that I'm experiencing right now and might be of service to other people as well, which is as you create content, of course, you're going to see, especially if you have like an analytics dashboard or something, but even on an intuitive level, like there's going to be certain pieces of your content that resonate with people and really spike and really get a lot of eyeballs, so to speak, a lot of attention. And then there's going to be other content that just doesn't. And a lot of times, the things that people really want to talk about or really want to lean into may not necessarily be the things that we as the content creators really love to talk about, right? There may be other aspects, conversely, where we're excited, we're passionate, like, man, that's such an interesting topic that, most people in your audience maybe don't care as much about. And so something painfully practical that I'm experiencing now is, for instance, when we create a lot of content for coaches, right? Christian coaches, and I'm of course like the April once called me. She's like, "You're the get clients guy, right? Like that's kind of your thing, you know." So obviously, I help Christian coaches get clients, fill up their coaching programs, specifically using Clubhouse. And one of the biggest things that pops up a lot is the issue of pricing, right? For Christian coaches, pricing. What should I charge? Is it okay to charge? What's that supposed to look like? How does that work if a lot of what I do is ministry and my coaching? And so every time we do a room about pricing, like, it's always popping, people are always jumping in, and we kind of have these conversations. Well, just this week, I started opening up these rooms for 30 minutes, about 10 a.m. Eastern time, and it's about pricing because I know that's something that people are really struggle with or they really like to know about. But since this is a safe place, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't always love talking about pricing, right? Like, it's just sometimes I feel like I say what I can say and I help how I can help, and I'm kind of ready to move on to the next topic. Like, pricing of your coaching program is just one tiny little part of like the grand scheme of things. But my point to you is, the my reason for being on Clubhouse and creating these rooms is not just to talk about things I find interesting, right? The whole point of creating content, and I think everybody in the room would agree, is to serve the people who are listening, to be a benefit to them. Like, it's about them, it's not about us as the content creators. So it's not to say that I don't like talking about pricing, but I'm definitely leaning into it a lot more than I would probably normally otherwise, because that's what's important to them. And so, as one marketer once said, and I've loved the way he put it. He said, "Play the hits." Right? You got to play the hits. Like, when people go to a concert for a famous band or a famous artist, like, they don't want to hear you playing all the deep track stuff off of your album, from 10 years ago that only two people ever heard. They want to hear the hits that are on the radio. That's why they go. And so, as content creators, I think we do our audiences a huge favor, even if we're getting kind of tired talking about it or creating content about it, if that's what's truly benefiting them, just to play the hits over and over and over, because that's what's going to serve our people the best. That's what they really need help with. So I hope that's an encouragement to somebody. I know it's painfully practical, but play the hits. Even if you're even if it's played out for you because you're the one who keeps creating content, as long as it's popping and people are really being benefited, just keep on playing those hits. So I hope that helps somebody. Thank you so much.
That was so good, Jason. And oh wow, it's something for us to remember when we are in ministry, and when we are doing things to do those, we're doing them for our people, for our clients. And so I'll try to make it a mini plug here, but I'll just tell you where I went for a second. So, the title that I try to hold sometimes is often the marriage confidence coach. And I was thinking about marriage when you were talking about this. And I was thinking about how sometimes when we are in that relationship, when we're in the marriage, and I'll just say, even in a relationship, if you have friends or with your children, sometimes we have to do those things that we might not want to do or we're a little bit tired of doing. I know recently my daughter, she wanted to play, I think for the 500th time, which I didn't mind too much because I like tea, but she wanted to do another tea party. And again, it was doing something that was going to bring her joy, something that she enjoyed, but maybe it was something I was a little bit tired of. But sometimes we have to do these things because God, He gives us these directions to go and do for the people. So sometimes it's not just about us, it's about our calling that God has given us, or it's about what God has instructed us to do. And that's what we go out and do. And we do it with a joyful heart. We don't do it begrudgingly because, oh, I'm tired of doing this again. Or if you all, I don't know, many years ago, the big thing that in my house was who is the fish? Dory. Finding Nemo. We watched that so many times and I was tired of it, but they enjoyed it. And so that may be like way off from the business side, but that was just kind of what I was thinking. And it's when you have something, when God has put something in you, you might get a little tired, you might get a little bit weary, but you're pouring into people, you're encouraging them. And let's be honest, sometimes you might not realize it, but you all hear my heart on this. You're saving lives. You never know the impact of what you're doing when you push through to do something. Maybe you don't feel like it, but if God has instilled it in you and told you to go out and preach the message, give the instructions, you could very well be encouraging somebody to save life because now they find something else for them to put their hands to the plow and do. At this time, I'm going to release the mic and pass it on to Brother Jamal. Are you available, sir? All right, let's hear
I am.
from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And hello to everyone in the room. Stacy and April. What's going on, ladies? And to everyone else here, man. Thank you all so very much for letting me speak. I won't be long at all. I'm Jamal Bakes. I'm a national radio host based in Columbia, South Carolina. I do morning radio. I have a syndicated morning show, a radio morning show that I do that airs in Florence, South Carolina, Augusta, Georgia, and Aiken, South Carolina. And I'm actually just got off the air about a minute ago doing a radio in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I do middays there every single day as well. And I do afternoon radio in my hometown of Columbia, South Carolina from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So that keeps me busy. I recently launched a podcast. It's called Just a Church Boy Podcast. And it's doing very well. Had my first guest on last week when it launched. If you all are familiar with Tom Joyner, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, he recently retired maybe about a year or two ago. I had his co-host. She was my first guest. I love her, Sybil Wilkes. So if you're into podcasts and listening to podcasts, go check out my podcast. The link is on my bio here, and it's available everywhere. And I'm also a pastor as well of a local church in Columbia, South Carolina. I'll be celebrating my 1 year anniversary next month, and I'm excited about that, man. Somebody told me that if you can survive, at least 1 year in a Baptist church, then you're doing pretty good for yourself. So I'm doing pretty good for myself if I can survive 1 year in a Baptist church, man. So I'm excited about everything God is doing in my life. And just to speak to the topic real quick about innovative content ideas and connect and collaborating, I love to connect with people. My radio show, my morning show in particular, again, it's a syndicated morning show. We're looking to get into more markets. So our audience is African American women between 25 and 54. So speaking of collaborating, if you would like to collaborate, maybe you have an online store, maybe you have a product or a service, and your target audience is women 25 to 54. I'd be glad to talk to you about that. Also, how I got here, you all, was not just by believing. I'll say this as well before I get a mic back to my sister. I didn't get here by believing. The Bible talks about how your gift will make room for you and put you before great men, but you have to work your gift. It took me years to get to where I wanted to be. For a long time, I've always wanted to do what Tom Joyner did. Again, for those of you who may be familiar with Tom Joyner, they called him the fly jock because he would do morning radio, I want to say in Dallas, and then afternoon radio in Chicago. And for a long time, I wanted to do what he did. He did that for 8 years. So here I am, 37 years old. I'm doing morning radio in Florence, South Carolina, Augusta, Georgia, Aiken, South Carolina, and I'm doing afternoon radio in my hometown. Dreams come true, you all, but you have to work. Faith without works is dead. You can't, pray and ask God for a job and expect the job to come knocking on your door, man. Nah, you have to get out there and look for a job. And God, being the God that He is, He will show you favor to get you the job. You know what I'm saying? So work it, man. Work your gift. Don't give up. About 2 weeks ago, I'll say this in closing. About 2 weeks ago, I was teaching on Sunday morning at my church, and I was telling my people the fact that I think it was David who wrote in one of the Psalms. He said, I would have given. I'm paraphrasing. I would have given up if I had not believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And I encouraged my people. I was like, if you give up where you are right now, then you won't see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. So I want to encourage you that don't give up because there is goodness in the land with your name on it. But if you give up where you are now, because where you are now it's not reflecting what you believe God showed you or God told you, if you give up, then you won't see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I love you all. God bless you. I'm praying for you. Follow me here on Instagram. Follow me here on Clubhouse and on Instagram, and let's connect, man. Let's make Jesus famous, as I love to say. All right. Thank you, guys.
What a blessing and so much encouragement there. Wow. And so we have heard it again. Thank you so much, Jamal, for your share, and for pastor and speaker radio host. I remember you sharing before that you were from Colombia. That's where my father's from. I have some family history down there. And he just said something that we've heard all throughout, that so many have said, which is you all just got to keep going. And even what he said about being in the land of the living, and this place, even right now, is very prophetic. So when you know that you have come here, you're retaining, you're getting this information, use it, everyone. Step out and use it. I believe Brother Joe was tapping his mic earlier, and I think he had a question or a comment for Jamal. Did you, Brother Joe? Go ahead if you did.
Thanks, my friend. Jamal, I got a question for you, my friend. You are killing it with that much content. I mean, the fact that you have a radio show in the morning, one in the afternoon, you're all over the place, and you're putting together messages. Can you give us any kind of a tip of how you are putting together that much content that you're having to create on a weekly basis?
That's a great question, bro. I appreciate that, man. Again, the morning radio show, I have a team. I have a team of people who I do the show with. Um, you have to be in the know as far as like the news. I disperse a lot of news, especially on my morning show. On my midday show that I do, it's more so, like encouragement, good news, but also my afternoon show as well. I give out news, what's happening now in the world. There's so much content out there, bro. Joe, and I'm sure you know this. There's so much content out there, especially on social media, man. So you just have to find out what your audience wants, what your audience would be concerned about. Like I'm working on a new podcast now, that will be launching in a few weeks. There are so many Christian marriages that are falling apart. There is divorce everywhere, it seems, man. Recently, those of you who may follow a certain, person, she recently announced that she was getting a divorce, and her father is a very internationally known preacher, and she recently announced that she was getting a divorce. So, Joe, to your point, what I did was I was like, who could I get on my podcast and on my morning radio show to talk about, Christians and divorce? If you all are familiar with Mary, the gospel singers, Tina Campbell, she went through a very public divorce where her husband cheated on her. This is all on television. Her husband cheated on her. She was about to put him out. She was ready to leave, and so forth and so on. But now they've gotten back together. Their marriage is blossoming, and so forth and so on. So I want to bring her and her husband on my morning show and on my podcast to talk about how they're doing it. And hopefully, when they tell their story, then other believers who may be, thinking about, letting their spouse go will hear their story and want to be encouraged. So it's so much news out there, man. And you just have to be in the know. You have to join rooms like this one and find out what's happening out there in the world. But it's so much content out there, man. I could be here for days, bro. But great question, Joe. I appreciate that, man.
Thanks, Jamal. I appreciate your response. And my takeaway from it is, from an innovative content idea is really if we have a niche that we're working in to be able to find just ongoing, there's always content getting put out that
Yes.
other people are doing. And so get set up with RSS feeds and different things to have all that content coming at us. And then that allows us to then be in the know and just have all those articles and different things to just riff off of and go from there. Did I catch that right?
That's correct, because again, and I'll say this and I'll be done. For my morning show, we target African Americans. So any news story that we talk about on my morning show, it targets African Americans. Whether it's, and I'm being honest, whether it's a black man being shot or something like that, or a black person winning, I don't know, the Oscars or something like that. Our audience is African Americans, so we research and we find content, we find stories that target our audience. So know your audience. Know what your audience likes on my Instagram page. If you go follow me on Instagram and check out my page, you'll see that on my page I'm encouraging, I'm inspiring. and that's what you'll get from my page. I talk about my radio show. So anyone who follows me, you're going to get motivation, you're going to get inspiration, and you'll find out about my radio shows and my podcast. So yeah, Joe, you got it. You hit the nail on the head, bro. Just know your niche, know your audience, man.
Hey, you're a rock star. It's just if I could plug one person on stage that you need to get connected with, it's Oriana. She's amazing, especially in the marriage side of things and all the things she's doing. So you really need to get connected with her because she may be a great guest for you. My name
I,
is Joe. Thanks so much.
I just followed her. I'm already on. Appreciate that, man.
What a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you so much, Brother Joe. And you all, again, you've just seen in action how this family works. We lift up one another, and you just really bless my heart. And thank you, Jamal, for that. I need to do the same. So at this time, I just want to really allow any of the moderators, do you have any final words? If you want to, we could start with Joe. And if you want to go through, if everybody, any has final words, flash your mic, or we're going to go into prayer.
I think I've said enough, but I just appreciate everybody here. I could talk as long as you guys need me to, but you're incredible. Stacy, Oriana, Jason, uh, Lori, Sophia, Georgette, Jamal, April, everybody. You guys are all amazing. Thanks so much for allowing me to be here and just for the constant impact you guys are all making constantly. So if anybody's listening to the replay, if you're listening on YouTube, wherever you're at, I'm telling you, my friends, do not miss out on connecting with Stacy. Connect with all the people here on stage if you're here in Clubhouse. Do not miss out because these are people who are doing things over and over and over again. I can tell you just from personal experience, they have lifted me up in more times than they even realize. So make sure you get connected with them. This is Joe Ayuk.
I just wanted to say that I want to appreciate Joe's Kingdom Economy teachings. I was listening to him this morning. So if you haven't checked that out, it's correcting a lot of um, like misunderstood things in the kingdom and a lot of pastors honestly just making money sometimes, some things that are not biblical. So I want to encourage everybody to check them out. I was just listening. I normally would like to talk a lot, which, but when I in this morning in the room, he had invited me up and I was just like, maybe later, because I was just learning. So I encourage you all to check those out because a lot of things that you probably been hearing from a lot of pastors, honestly, sometimes it's just to make money. I would encourage you all to check that out. And he also told me something that a lot of people probably thought about me, and he told me directly, privately. So I appreciate that every time I see Joe. So thanks a lot, and keep up the good work, everybody. And thanks, Joe.
All right, sorry. I guess I need to take it off of mute. We're learning that you have to open your mouth and speak. You have to allow
I'm done
yourself
speaking. I
to.
was supposed to say I'm done speaking too for the people that are transcribed. Okay,
Oh,
I'm done.
yes.
This is Jason. I'm done speaking.
Wonderful, Jason. So let that be a lesson. See, there's some content right there. I didn't take mute off and I needed my voice to go out. So open up your mouth and speak. At this time, we want to hear from our founder and just beautiful, beautiful, gifted sister and founder of the club, Stacy. Go ahead.
Hello, my friends. Oh my gosh, this is the power of having such a dynamic team. I had to step away and was just so grateful coming back in and hearing all of the praises. I knew Oriana would just run with this and hit the ball out of the park as she always does, getting back her feet wet in hosting because I know she's been so busy. And she just came right back into her flow and anointing. And we're just so grateful, Oriana. And of course, you see our sisters and our brothers celebrating you. Everyone, can we just go ahead and tap our mics and love on each other and our sister? And just so, so grateful that God has called us to each other. And a lot of you, God has put so much inside of each and every one of you. I got some DMs saying how great of a room this has been and came right back in. I had to create a video cover for those of you who are wondering how to create content innovatively, right? And so what I did is while I had to step away and do some work and a call was coming in, what I had to do is add a layer with a background that I normally have for when I do interviews on summits and we have an area where people can put in their names. So I just added that in the background and then I added our logo, the Christian Content Creators logo. We had some messages that I had put up on the screen and then I added a text and I said, tune in live on Clubhouse as well as here. And I put the link. So some of you came over, like Tola. Hello, Tola. She was over there with us on YouTube and she came right into the room, I believe, right as I added that link. So a lot of times you can, migrate people over that are connecting with you on multiple platforms that you're streaming from, and go ahead and cross pollinate. And some of you downloaded the toolkit, and I'm just excited to see how you're going to put it to use. I spoke about Headliner earlier, so I'll keep sharing more about that for those of us who are podcasters. I heard briefly Jamal talking about two podcasts. Some of us have more than two, and it's like, how do you do it all? How do you keep creating content fearlessly, staying on brand, staying on message, and finding an effective way to still serve your people with excellence? And I believe it's having the right tools, having the right systems. We said keep it simple. James said that earlier. That's a part of our framework. Keep it simplified and streamlined. Kiss, right? So give a kiss to the people who are called to you. Give a kiss to the creator, the master creator, God. Spend that quality time with him. Allow him to give you the downloads and the direction and the discernment to know who to align yourselves with, who to connect and to partner with. And I believe you're hearing that here in this message. I can't wait to hear the feedback when Jamal gets Ariana on his show and all the other people. Joe, you always do such a phenomenal job recommending and highlighting and making sure to just really propel and put forward the amazing voices that are relevant and is so needed today. So just thank you for being you. Thank you, Jason, Ariana, Joe, April, Sophia, Lori, Georgette, Jamal, who stuck around until the very end, and everyone who's been here from the beginning. Some of you are still here on YouTube. Elizabeth and so many others who've commented. We're grateful for you. We couldn't have this show, this experience, and this conversation without you. And so the last thing that I'll add up to the screen is our club landing, so that if you would like to become a leader with us, bring conversations that we're not yet bringing, or partner in the conversations that we're already bringing, and be able to just lead with us as a Christian content creator, we definitely want to invite you to just send in that information when we do that landing page. So Ariana, go ahead and close us out as you've been doing. And we're just so grateful that each and every one of you are here as we create content for God's glory and to impact lives for eternity. I can't wait to watch the replay for what I missed. And back over to you, Ariana.
Thank you so much, Stacy. I'm wondering at this time, April, if you are actually available to close us out in prayer. I have little ones that are running around pretty active. If not, all right, wonderful. So I'm going to let April, I guess, she can lead us out in that. And I just want to say again, thank you everyone for being in this place. You are in the Christian content creator space. And if you have enjoyed, if you have been blessed, if you have found the seeds inside in your spirit being that have just starting to bud out, I encourage you to just follow so you can stay in commune with us for this consistent content that's being provided. We have April. I know she hosts a room. And since I have been a little bit absent lately, I'm not going to say everyone, but again, if you're plugged in and you have that little green icon above, you will see the rooms that are being held throughout the week. Also, you'll see that link that our lovely founder Stacy has posted for the homepage, and you can get information there as well. So at this time, I'm going to pass the mic over to April. Sis, thank you so much. Thank you for being family. Again, all the moderators, Jason, Lori, Georgette, Jamal, and Sophia, thank you for being here. And our founder, Stacy, thank you so much. Just bless and encourage those in the listening lounge and those who are following the speakers. We're just thankful and grateful for your consistency and just for pouring in, because you being here is encouraging for us and it's just showing the kingdom growth. So at this time, go ahead, April. Thank you.
Absolutely. If you're on stage and you feel comfortable, feel free to unmic and pray with me as we close out our space today. Heavenly Father,
God,
thank
we
you
thank
so
you for
much
your
for
presence,
Father
today.
God,
all that you
God,
thank
you
you
do,
are
so
all
much
the
always
for
guiding
so
and the leading and the
consistently
that you
faithful,
died
guidance,
for our
so
ordering
sins,
our
consistently
Jesus.
steps,
good.
oh God,
Father
by
God,
And
your
we
thank
just
you
want to
that
word.
we can come
acknowledge you
Oh
together
and
and
God,
build
thank
one
thank
you
you
for
another
this
up.
to
topic.
The
minister to
iron
God,
our
I
hearts
sharpening
and our
thank you,
iron,
Lord, for
Father
this
minds,
God. Thank
and
you
allow us
dynamic
to
community
that
of
fulfill
content
what you
creators,
have given,
Christian
what
content
in
in
creators
godliness
season
that you
and
for
kept us
beyond.
that
safe in
Thank
our
you,
this
Lord,
pandemic,
mission
Father
is
as
God.
the
what
author and the
Thank you
your
that
finisher
you've
of our
mission
given us
for us,
faith,
God,
technology that we
praise
and
can
what
you
use
we're
to
to
share
for
your
do and what
word,
we're
allowing
to
to
us
go out
to
and
do,
defeat
have
God.
world and
And
clear
thank you
disciple,
for
vision
stepping
for
into the
Father
you,
God,
dynamic
God,
people
and
and
who,
as we
moving
just
inside of
baptize
each
in
and
the
every
name of
one
the
of us,
Father,
Baptize
Son, and
them
Holy
Father.
through the
Spirit, to advance your
connections of
Because
your
God,
kingdom.
in the other
name,
Father
side of
God,
the
to
and we
lift
just
yes,
people
pray,
up,
Lord,
God, that you will
to
God,
build
you
continue to
people
be
called
up,
us to this
glorified
season.
to
You've
as we
anointed us
continue
have
to
to
reap
you
that
bring
harvest.
forward
take our
And
your
so we
mistakes,
love
Father
thank
and
you
your
God,
for
and
that,
purpose
make a
Father.
and your
masterpiece.
will and
Father
your
God,
God, I
thank you
thank
way.
that
you for
you
Lord,
Stacy and the
show us your
vision
continue,
love,
God,
you
and
show us
Lord,
your
just
the
to
glory, you
be
show
glory,
us your
lifted
power.
up.
that you will
Thank you
As
that
we
continue,
you've given
continue
us
to
to
the
have
grow
your
and
power,
lengthen
Father
our
God,
favor
lifespan, to
upon
just
this
be
to
ministry,
glorified,
to
Lord
everything
actually
God.
that we
witness
We
do, everything that we
surrender
to
say,
uplift
everything
and
to
everything,
you,
encourage, Father
everything
Jesus.
God,
will
All
prosper
that
in the
you've
name
to
of
been
have
able
be
to
Jesus.
redeemed
endure
God,
and
I
and
have
thank you for
overcome
every
time
single
so that you
more
vision
and
can
more
that's
just
being
bear
chances
presented
witness,
here,
that you
God.
position
forgive
That
us
us,
you're
every
giving
single
us
time
purpose
we
wisdom,
mess
us,
up, that you
Lord
strategy, that you're
encourage
God,
giving
us,
us
impact
that you
vision,
lives, Lord
that you're
God.
giving
reinstate
us
us, Father
faith,
God.
Glory
God,
to
Thank
you
you
Father,
for
for
our
the
so that we
families,
can
creative
Father God.
continue
Thank you
to
ways
for
of
live
connections. Thank you
your
for
creating
name up
every
high
kingdom
in the
individual
name of
connections.
every
Thank you
human
for
creator.
that
the
is
So
wisdom
God,
aligned
that you
together,
pour
thank
Lord
you
out
for
God.
that.
through
Special
Father, I
our
just
prayer for
pray
brothers and
right
holiness,
sisters,
now,
Father
love,
God,
God.
and
Thank you
mercy,
for
continue
truth, and
life,
rule
connecting us
upon
Father
to
God.
our
all
Thank
your
you
purpose,
for
people,
God,
your
that
children.
you have
our
As we
divine
receive it
appointments,
for
all,
God,
even
we just give
that
it all
you're
back
putting
to
us
that a
you.
in
lot of us
places
Receive
have
with
it
the
on the
right
impossible
people,
made it
God,
shall
with
even
the
and
through this
wisdom
believe.
that you
pandemic,
have
Father
for
God,
Have
when a
us.
lot
your
of people
way.
did
God, we
not.
thank you for that,
Thank you
Amen.
for
Lord
your
God.
grace and
We
mercy,
honor you,
Father
Lord,
God, and
for
your power,
everything
Father
that
God,
you're
and
doing
everything
in
that
us,
you're doing
God,
for us and in our
everything that
lives.
you're doing
In
through us and
Jesus
for
Christ's
us,
name,
God. We
Father God.
honor you, God. We
Amen.
thank you and we praise you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen and amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you all again for spending time with us. Again, Stacy, we honor you. Oriana, it was such a pleasure having you mod today. I was like, man, I've missed this. And this was a blessing for me today, sis, to see you operate in the gift that God has put on the inside of you. So we just love you. We love every single person in this room with the love of Christ. And we look forward to seeing you in a future room inside of this club. I'll be closing this space in 5, 4,
Bye,
3,
everybody. Much
2,
love.
1.
Have a great
Be
day.
Bye. Love you
blessed.
Bye
guys.
bye.
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 And for everyone tuning in all the areas, we'll see you again very